There's so many myths out there. There is no microchip in the vaccine. There's not a microchip in there. If you actually look when they're giving it to you, there's nothing that can fit in there. There's no microchip. Complete myth. It cannot give you COVID. It is an mRNA vaccine. It uses your body to create spike proteins when it goes into the cell. And when it goes into the cell, it also cannot alter your DNA, because that's a big myth. It doesn't even go into the part of the cell that processes DNA, but it teaches your cells to create these proteins. Your immune response recognizes them, so that if you were to contract COVID, your body would be ready. So it doesn't alter your DNA. As a pregnant person myself, my advice to another pregnant person, or someone who wants to get pregnant, or someone who's breastfeeding, number one is talk to your doctor. Don't go online, don't read Facebook posts, don't go to some random website. Your obstetrician and your team are an invaluable source of information. Their whole job is to keep you and the baby safe throughout your entire pregnancy. As far as we do know, the vaccine does not adversely affect the baby. If anything, you taking the vaccine protects the baby, giving the baby some kind of passive immunity so that babies are not being born with COVID. Because if babies are born with COVID, then their risk of having lung issues, breathing issues, having to go to the ICU is much higher. Why take that risk? It's not using, what people think of as like a stem cell to make the vaccine. First of all, that would take a really, really long time to create, number one. Number two, the Pope himself has declared that it is our ethical responsibility to take the vaccine. But it is our ethical responsibility because it's the understanding of what we can do for ourselves and our community. So for young, healthy people who have had or who have not had COVID, they should still 100% get the vaccine. Number one, if you've had COVID, it doesn't mean you can't get it again. I have seen it in this hospital. Just because you're young does not mean that you have a superpower that makes you different than other people. You can get terribly, deathly ill and die. If everybody else around you is getting the vaccine and you don't, you are actually the weaker person in terms of immunity in that group. You could be the one to contract it and still spread it. You're not protecting yourself either. If you're young and healthy, you're actually the best candidate to get the vaccine. So, why not do it? So if you have the opportunity, I say get the vaccine.